Hello, welcome back. Happy New Year, happy 2021. I hope it's got off to a really good start for you. And thank you for joining me again for another hopefully what will be another year of poetry workshops, thanks to Positive Images Festival in Coventry. And we are now at 97 subscribers, so thank you so much to all of you. Thanks to everyone who watches these videos, who uses them for the inspiration for their poems, and if you're here for the first time, then welcome. Coming up, we've got our usual best practice quote from a well-known philosopher this time, plus discover how to eat a poem, and of course there's a special writing challenge for you to something that will be a challenge this time round, but a fun one. We'll go straight in with activity 1, How to Eat a Poem by Eve Merriam. And this, hopefully I'll put the text on the screen so you'll be able to see it as well. And this is how to eat a poem. Don't be polite, bite in. Pick it up with your fingers and lick the juice that may run down your chin. It is ready and ripe now, whenever you are. You do not need a knife or fork or spoon or plate or napkin or tablecloth, for there is no core or stem or rind or pit or seed or skin to throw away. So it's a short one for you, but might be one you want to have another listen to or another look of. And I thought we'd just have a think. What does Eve Merriam compare poetry to? So, how to eat a poem, and then it gives you sort of like a set of instructions really, and it's a bit of kind of a list poem, this one. I do love a good list poem because it puts these ideas next to each other. There's no stem, rind, pit, seed, skin to throw away. And for me, that last line is really key. There's nothing in a poem that you throw away. There's no wastage. It's such a small, short space that every bit is important. Every piece of grammar and punctuation and letter earns its place there. So what does this tell us about how she feels about poetry? And she tells you, don't be polite. That's the important bit because she started off with that. The first line in the poem is always important. Don't be polite. Bite in. These are very bossy instructions. If you were doing creative writing with young people, you would say they were using their bossy verbs. Pick it up with your fingers. Lick the juice. So for me, obviously, it's capturing some sort of maybe fruit, something sweet and ripe and ready and enjoyable. And that is the key with poems, is you should enjoy writing them, you should enjoy reading them, otherwise what are you doing it for? There's a misconception really, and I have been guilty of this in the past, that poems have to be sort of dark to be meaningful, and not at all. If I've just done the short activity about a Roald Dahl poem, which is genius and it's fun and it rhymes and it's brilliant. And this one as well, it's not complicated. I understand every word in this on the first reading, but as I look over it and I think, what is she saying? What does she mean by this? Then I can really enjoy it. But it's still fun to read. So your task is to write your own how-to poem. So this is how to eat a poem. And it could be how to repair something, it could be how to cook a particular dish, it could be how to paint a picture, anything you like, but try and use that metaphor, because obviously you can't really eat a poem. I think, to me, what she means is that this is how you can savour a poem, this is how you can enjoy it, this is how you can sort of, really take it apart and look at what it's made of, and be excited about it. So take something and write your own how-to poem using metaphors and imagery. And I will see you in the second task. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed that. Feel free to pop your thoughts in the comments underneath. We've also got a Positive Images Festival Poetry Workshop Facebook group. That is the catchy title. If you search for it, you'll find it. You can post your poems in there as well to share with other people. Or you can keep them for yourself. That is also okay. Now, we've done an activity similar to this before in one of the workshops, in the in-person workshops that I run, but it's a great way of sparking some new ideas. So this is one we're going to have a go at again. Firstly, I want you to pick a topic that interests you, something you're familiar with. So maybe if you're struggling for ideas, maybe pick a season. So you could pick winter or summer, you know, I'm sure you know what a season is. It could be a hobby, like I really like swimming, outdoor swimming. I like bird watching, walking, so rock and roll. You could, yeah, anything, any topic. It could be a place, could be somewhere from your childhood, somewhere you've been on holiday. It could be the city you live in or the town. Pick a topic. That's the first bit. Okay. Now, write that at the top of your page if you're using pen and paper, like I do. Otherwise, you know, put it at the top of your page on your phone or tablet. Now, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to write down as many words as you can associated with this topic. So we're creating a word bank. So anything that pops into your head about this topic, like the really obvious stuff, would be brilliant. Don't start writing, lines of poetry, just words and phrases at this point, the really obvious ones that you would associate with it. Okay, 3, 2, 1, see you in 3 minutes. Well, I'll leave the video running with like encouraging words on it. But don't stop writing. Okay, so you've got a lovely word bank now, filled with all these words that you would associate, the really obvious words that you would use. Now, don't be cross with me, because this might go in a slightly different direction to what you thought. Your challenge is to write a poem without using any of the words on the paper. You can describe them. So if your topic was winter and you put snow, you can describe snow, but you are not allowed to use the word if you've written it down. So you can describe it, but no, like, explicitly stating what it is, and see what happens, because this usually produces some very imaginative results. Okay, good luck. How did that go? Did you find that you were having to really think about some different ways of looking at it? Did you get some really interesting images out of it? I hope so. If you didn't, then don't worry. It's an experiment and it's fun to play around with words, and that's what we're doing. Here's a lovely little best practice quote for you. So I quite often use poets. This time is slightly different. We've gone for Plato. So Plato was an Athenian philosopher during the classical period in ancient Greece, and yes, I am reading this from the paper. He was founder of the Platonist school of thought and the Academy, the first institution of higher learning in the Western world. He's a pivotal figure in the history of ancient Greek and Western philosophy, along with his teacher Socrates and his most famous student Aristotle. So that's Plato for you. Quite a wise guy, and here's what he had to say about poetry. Poetry is nearer to the vital truth than history. I really love this. I think maybe at the moment there's a lot of us questioning what is truth, what, you know, when we go through that in our lives, what does it mean by truth? And I think poetry is a lot to do with feelings and emotion and experiences, and therefore there's truth in it. Maybe more so than some of the facts that that we're given. So it's an interesting quote. Maybe it means something different to you than what it means to me, and that's okay too. We're going to move on to another classic person of literature this time, in Emily Dickinson, and you'll probably have come across this one before. It's one of her really well-known ones. Hope is the thing with feathers. Now, this is another one that proves that something beautiful is, and happy and positive is as worthy, if not more so, than any of the sort of deep dark poetry that seems to be coming out of the COVID times at the moment. So this is one that I've been enjoying lately, because I think it's a powerful one. I hope you enjoy it as well. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. So this poem uses that beautiful extended metaphor to describe hope. It's also one of those that breaks all the rules, because we don't say the word thing in a poem. Thing's not a good word, and this whole thing is about thing. Hope is the thing with feathers. I think it's so important because it shows us that she can't actually completely say what it is. It's mysterious. We can't see it. We don't know what it looks like, but it is the thing with feathers, and she gives it these qualities. It's sweet. It's associated with the little bird. It keeps people warm. Even in the chillest land and the strangest sea. It's the song that sings the tune without the words. Something joyous. There's just so much in this poem, and I will stop myself there before I bore you all going on for hours. So it's an extended metaphor because it's not just in one line, it's a metaphor that's carried all the way through the poem, which is what an extended metaphor is. Hope is the thing with feathers. It's not like a thing with feathers, it is the thing with feathers. And what does this tell us about hope? Well, that's for you to decide. I've told you a little bit what it means to me. That even in the chillest land and the strangest sea, there is this beautiful thing, hope, and it never asks anything of us. It is happy being there, and you can't buy it, you can't get it in any other way. It's there. Here's your challenge. Can you write about can you use an extended metaphor and pick another emotion, one that's not hope. I mean, personally for me at the moment, I'd go with something positive, because that's what I'm trying to do with this workshop, is spread some positive vibes, you know. But if you wanted to pick something like sadness or something like that, then that is fine as well. But there's a lot of emotions to go at. Pick one and have a go at describing it. What is it? Your emotion is the thing with what? And don't forget, if you use in a metaphor, the item will take all of the qualities on of that. So when she says hope is the thing with feathers, we think of a feather, that becomes hope in our brains. That's how our brains join this up. So then we think of something that's light, that's bright, that's fluffy, that's delicate, that's maybe magical or mystical. We think of flight and skies and all those things. Your brain will take you away with all those qualities that metaphorical image creates. So think carefully about what you would like, what images you would like to attach to the emotion you're writing about. I will leave you to get on with that activity. Thank you so much to everybody that supports these workshops. Thank you, of course, to Positive Images Festival who fund them. And thanks to everybody who emails or writes, and it's so lovely to hear from you, especially in these very strange times. Stay safe, stay happy, and keep writing. See you on February the 28th, Sunday the 28th of February, for our next YouTube session.